Athletes and Builders was inducted in 1980. Now, he's a man whose interest in his community led to sporting facilities and athletic teams that have kept the small town near Truro on the provincial and national sporting map almost forever. Mike Henderson, son of the longtime sales representative for Stansfields Limited in Truro, used those facilities and played on those teams that his father helped develop. He was inducted in 1999 after a lengthy career as a stellar second baseman for the Brookfield Softball Elks that earned his team's national honors and earned him recognition and all-Canadian status as one of the best infielders in the country. And now comes his brother, Terry. Entering the hall as a builder, Terry, like all of the Hendersons, started as an athlete. There wasn't a sport he didn't play. Let's listen to his sister, Judy Matheson, talk of what it was like growing up in a house full of boys who ate, drank, and slept sports.
He built a miniature golf course around our house when I was young age, about 13, I guess, and everything, everything's centered around a game with Terry, whether you're traveling in the car or having a game of golf or just a game of ball in the backyard. It's always a game with Terry, and it makes being around him a lot of fun, and always has.
Now, Terry played mostly baseball and hockey as a kid, but when entering Acadia, discovered softball from the American students there. In 1954, he brought the game home to Brookfield, and Don converted the Brookfield Elks program to that game. Terry was playing coach from 1955 for almost 20 years, then full bench coach until 1991. The example his team set inspired other small programs in the province to flourish in places like Thorburn, Newport, Guysborough, and Trenton.
As a builder of softball, I don't think there's a county or a village or town in the province that isn't aware of his efforts. He's practically been in most of them with either coaching clinics, developmental clinics, skill clinics. He's certainly coached athletes from probably every county in the province. He's had senior men's, junior ladies and senior ladies teams. I think he's been a coach or active participant at close to 30 Canadian championships. So he's known throughout the province for his work in softball.
Terry led his softball Elks to a Maritime Intermediate C Championship in 1963, the Maritime Senior B Championship in 1967, and a Senior A title the next season. In 1971, hosting the Canadian Senior Championship, the Elks finished third. In 1976, his team was down 3-0 in a best-of-7 Nova Scotia championship. In Game 4, there were 2 outs in the last of the 9th, Brookfield down 3-0, no one on base, and they rallied to win the game and title 4-3. Mike Henderson was the second baseman that day, and he talks about Terry's competitive nature.
When he was well into his 40s and maybe even early 50s and coaching, and like I say, still signed as a player, batting practice, he would challenge any and all of us to fielding drills, and always for the bottle of Coca-Cola. That was his favorite, and he never seemed to pay off. And I'm not saying he won every contest. He either won or owed a lot of Cokes, but he never seemed to pay off on them.
He'll have a chance to respond, I promise you. During the 1970s and 80s, he was provincial coach, leading many teams to junior and senior ladies' nationals, sometimes winning bronze and silver medals, the best finish ever for Nova Scotia women's teams. Meanwhile, he was leading the men's senior Elks to nationals year after year, finally winning gold in Saskatoon in 1981. Lyle Carter, a Hall of Fame inductee in 1984, and a longtime softball and hockey teammate of Terry's, talks about the impact on Brookfield of that championship.
The community just went wild. I mean, they were out dancing in the streets, there was parades, and of course Mike Henderson was an all-star second baseman with that team, and when those guys came back and when we heard the news and then they come back, it was very exciting, and it's still exciting to this day. We're still talking about it.
And Terry's role in that was huge?
His role was huge. He was the coach. He took a homebrew team. We call it a homebrew team. Today, I don't like what they do. They fly players all over the country from one province to the other at the time of the Canadian Championship. That was a homebrew team, and Terry Henderson, the boys, won the Canadian, and they did it the right way.
Later that year, yes. Later that year, the Elks, representing Canada, finished third at the World Championship, and that Elks team was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1988. He's a man who played hard, coached tough but fair, and was a leader in the boardroom. He was a winner as a coach and certainly as an executive. He is a Henderson from Brookfield, and that is enough said. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Terry Henderson the latest Builder inductee to the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. And to present the plaque and pin, one of our honored Hall of Fame members inducted as an athlete in the year 2000, Terry's brother, Mike Henderson. Mike, come on up. Now, Terry, I know you've had a long time association with Stanfield's underwear, so we'll be brief. McLean couldn't be here, so I got to slip one in. First of all, the Coke story, the Coca-Cola story. Can you shed some light on the paying off with the Cokes?
Well, you know, I thought it was a good way to make them work harder in the field, and of course, being a player myself, I was better defensively than the rest of them. So.
Yeah, but did you ever buy one?
No, I never had to.
There you go. Thank you. Got to the bottom of that. How about your national championship, 81, your recollections there?
Oh, that was a terrific bunch of ball players. We picked up one man from Sydney, Cliff Surratt. I think he was the only man over 25. Just unheard of in softball for every young team work that hard to win something.
What about growing up in Brookfield in a very athletic family who loved sports? How important was that in your development as an athlete and coach?
Well, I guess it's only natural. We 5 brothers until Mike came along and competed. You know, we really competed against each other, and I think it made us all grow better.
Okay, how about you buy Mike the Coke tonight?
I will.
All right. Terry Henderson, ladies and gentlemen.